man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude was nothing.
Floyd Mayweather, the undefeated boxing legend, is lending his wisdom to Terence Crawford as he prepares for his big fight against Canelo Alvarez later this year. Watching Crawford in training, Mayweather was blown away by how much he's improved, and he didn't mince words when he said he's confident Canelo might not make it through the fight. In fact, Mayweather predicted that Crawford's skill set could be enough to knock Canelo out. During their training session, Mayweather passed on some of the techniques that made him one of the greatest boxers ever. He showed Crawford how to use the shoulder roll to avoid taking heavy punches from a bigger opponent, and even demonstrated some footwork tricks to keep him one step ahead in the ring. It's clear Crawford is ready for anything, whether Canelo comes in swinging or plays it smart. Mayweather, who knows a thing or two about being undefeated, believes Crawford has what it takes to seriously hurt Canelo. Floyd Mayweather couldn't help but compare himself to Terence Crawford, saying their situations are strikingly similar. He hinted that Crawford's fight with Canelo Alvarez could end the same way his own did. With Canelo on the losing side. Mayweather's fight against Canelo happened back in September 2013, a showdown for the WBC and WBA light middleweight titles. At the time, it was the 45th fight of Mayweather's incredible career, while Canelo was a young fighter facing the toughest challenge of his life. The American claimed the victory on points even if the scorecards had it much closer than most. Floyd Mayweather didn't hold back when talking about his fight with Canelo Alvarez, calling it easy and saying he was nothing. Reflecting on their 2013 showdown, Mayweather made it clear he wasn't impressed. Canelo was a cakewalk. Everyone hypes him up, but I was almost 40, and I handled him like it was nothing, Mayweather said. People act like he's unbeatable, but I showed the world who the real king of boxing is. Mayweather also shared his thoughts on why some critics seem to doubt fighters like Gervonta "Tank" Davis. It's not that they want Tank to lose, they just can't stand seeing him win. It's like they think beating Tank is a way to beat me because I dominated boxing for so long, he explained. Light heavyweight in the process, he now looks set to take part in another huge boxing, but Floyd Mayweather doesn't seem too impressed by Canelo's power. When asked if it worried him before their 2013 fight, Mayweather brushed it off.
Not at all, he said.
Canelo was 23, had 43 fights, 30 knockouts, and people said he was inexperienced. I was 36, and in the ring, his power didn't feel like anything new. After being in boxing for over 20 years, I'd felt it all before. Mayweather's confidence might be just the boost Crawford needs. Canelo hasn't knocked out any of his last 5 opponents, even though he's still dominating as the unified champion at 168 pounds. The 34-year-old from Guadalajara holds the WBC, WBA, and WBO titles and is gearing up to defend them against Crawford in what's shaping up to be one of the most talked-about fights in boxing history. Canelo's only other loss came in 2022 when Dimitri Bivol, a former WBA light heavyweight champ, beat him convincingly. Mayweather also reflected on his fight with Canelo, saying, "I was past my prime in my late 30s and still made it look easy. Imagine what I'd do if we were the same age." Adding to the buzz, Hearn was recently spotted at a training session with Mayweather and Crawford. Hearn was there to support Shakur Stevenson, but his presence only added to the excitement surrounding Crawford's upcoming showdown with Canelo. With so many big names involved, this fight is building up to be something truly special. Recently, Mayweather and renowned promoter Hearn crossed paths at a gym in Sin City, and while the vibe was playful, there was definitely some tension. Mayweather brought up something he'd heard Hearn say. "Someone showed me a clip of Eddie saying, 'Floyd doesn't have money. That's why he's doing exhibitions.'" Hearn has been vocal in interviews, claiming Mayweather's series of exhibition fights is proof he's running out of cash. But let's be real, Mayweather's career earnings tell a completely different story. The boxing icon earned over $1.2 billion during his career, with massive paydays from fights like Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. While recent reports suggest his net worth is around $400 million, that's still enough for Mayweather to enjoy the lavish lifestyle he's famous for. Even after officially retiring in 2017, Mayweather has kept busy with high-paying exhibition matches, taking on the likes of Logan Paul and others. These fights may not carry the same intensity as his professional bouts, but they've kept him in the spotlight and brought in millions.
I was 36, and Canelo was 23, around the same age.
So, while Eddie Hearn might throw shade about Mayweather's finances, the undefeated champ seems to be doing just fine. Still making headlines, still making money, and still living life on his own terms. Hearn, the promoter behind Matchroom Boxing, had been vocal in interviews about Mayweather's net worth, hinting that it might not be as high as people think due to his lavish spending. He said, "I don't think he has the money he claims to, but he doesn't need it. It's just that with that kind of lifestyle, you're always spending." Mayweather wasn't bothered by those comments. When the two ran into each other in Las Vegas, he made it clear that they had already cleared things up. They joked about the whole situation, laughing as if it was all just a misunderstanding. The meeting took place at a boxing gym while they were both in town for the fight between Diego Pacheco and Steve Nelson. As they watched the sparring, Mayweather casually brought up Hearn's past remarks, turning it into a playful conversation. One day, somebody said he started, as their friends and crews laughed along, enjoying the lighthearted exchange.
Social media on my phone. Yeah. So they showed me Eddie. Eddie was like, Floyd Mayweather ain't got no money. That's why he's doing exhibition.
Mayweather couldn't stop laughing when he remembered a moment with Eddie Hearn. He explained that since he doesn't have social media on his phone, someone had shown him a comment from Eddie, who had joked that Mayweather was only doing exhibitions because he was low on cash. Mayweather laughed and said that they'd cleared things up already, even showing Eddie his bank accounts to prove he was doing fine. The two of them shared a handshake, with Mayweather grinning confidently. Eddie joked, "As long as it's 10 or 20 million, no problem. Anything less? That can't happen." This had everyone laughing, and it was clear there were no hard feelings between them. Mayweather even quipped about how much money he would have made if Eddie had been his promoter. Mayweather's wealth is clearly not an issue. Recently, he made a huge $42 million purchase, buying several apartment buildings. It's clear from all of this that Mayweather is far from broke. Despite all the jokes, the man is doing just fine. Whether or not he's got more exhibitions lined up, he's still associated with big money moves. Mayweather remains one of the wealthiest athletes ever, and his spending habits prove it. Return backouts Hearn never promoted Mayweather, but likely wishes he did given the star power of the American his pay-per-view events against Pacquiao in 2015 and McGregor in 2017 remain the two biggest earning fights in the modern era. Floyd Mayweather has always been known for his perfect record in the ring, but his finances have often sparked some questions. Ahead of his massive 2017 fight against Conor McGregor, McGregor suggested Mayweather might have tax issues, despite being the richest boxer ever. Recently, Eddie Hearn joined the conversation, expressing doubts about Mayweather's wealth, saying, "I don't think he has the money he claims." But Mayweather isn't letting the critics slide. In a recent Instagram video, he responded by showing off a huge check with 6 zeros, confidently saying, "You know what we do. The one and only Floyd Money Mayweather, CEO of Zeus." He even took a jab at Hearn, saying he does exhibitions because he loves the art of boxing. With a 50-0 record and millions earned, Mayweather continues to prove he's a money-making machine in the boxing world.
But me and Eddie got it clear, didn't we, Eddie? Yeah. Me and my buddy got it clear.
We said as long as it's 10 or 20. No problem.
Boxing Glove Money Bag, hashtag Floyd Mayweather, hashtag Money Mayweather, hashtag Boxing Legend, hashtag Exhibition Fights, hashtag CEO, hashtag Zeus, hashtag Combat Sports. Floyd Mayweather, with his perfect 50-0 record, became one of the biggest names in boxing, earning billions throughout his career. But now, after retiring, people are starting to question his financial situation. Mayweather's always been proud of his wealth, showing off stacks of cash, expensive watches, and talking about his business deals. But not everyone is convinced. Promoter Eddie Hearn has publicly said he doesn't think Mayweather has as much money as he claims, pointing out how Mayweather's flashy lifestyle might not match his actual bank balance. Despite making huge paydays throughout his career, like the massive one against Conor McGregor, Mayweather still does exhibition matches years after retiring, fighting people like Logan Paul and John Gotti III. This has led some to wonder if Mayweather really has the financial stability he says he does. Mayweather, of course, disagrees. He responded by showing off a check on social media and proudly calling himself the money man, trying to prove that he still got it. Meanwhile, current boxing star Terence Crawford, who's been dominating in multiple weight classes, recently said he would have beaten Mayweather if they had ever fought. Crawford, who's already proven himself as one of the best in the game, confidently stated he'd take down Mayweather in a fantasy matchup. His trainer, Brian McIntyre, agrees with him, saying Crawford would win. So the big question remains, would Crawford have been able to beat Mayweather if they fought? Fans are still debating. My son, so I'm going to always go with him. Terence has that dog in him. Terence didn't get to where he is now overnight. It's taken years and years. That would have been a hard _ fight though, man. Me versus anybody. I'm going to always say me. But if you put Bud in there in his prime with Mayweather in his prime, then of course Mayweather is going to be the smarter one. But I think Bud will have more dog in him. Whether or not Bud could break the famed defenses of Mayweather down will always be debated. Another
and do an exhibition or come out and box and have some fun. I do it because
debate that'll keep being a topic in the boxing world is the greatest of all-time debate, with many disagreeing with Floyd Mayweather. Roy Jones Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. are two boxing legends who have left an indelible mark on the sport. Both are widely regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighters of their respective eras, sparking endless debates about who truly deserves the title of greatest of all time. The Floyd 50-0, or is it like you got to respect anything a person does stay on deaf feet that long, so I respect it to a degree. Yeah, is it I F50? No, that I think, oh, he the greatest fight all time. No, Mayweather with his perfect 50-0 record is considered by many to be the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in history. His impenetrable defense and ability to control the pace of a fight made him a unique spectacle. Additionally, his career was marked by extraordinary commercial success, with 4 of the 5 highest grossing pay-per-view events in boxing history. However, Roy Jones Jr., an undisputed champion across 4 weight classes, holds a different opinion. In an interview with Real Life Productions, when asked if he considered Mayweather the GOAT, Jones Jr. gave a simple but emphatic response: no slick, but punishing. Jones was the first man to win a middleweight world title and go on to do the same at heavyweight in over a century. He held top honors in 4 divisions throughout his storied career, beating the likes of James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, and Antonio Tarver, with an endlessly watchable style. Shabby with 8-0 at one point. 80, he could have retired 8-0 you going. Floyd Mayweather finished his career with an incredible 50-0 record, winning titles in 5 different weight classes.
Money Floyd Mayweather would have made if I was his promoter back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
His defense is considered one of the best in boxing history, and he became one of the richest fighters ever, holding 4 of the top 5 highest-grossing pay-per-view events. But even with all his success, not everyone thinks he's the greatest boxer of all time. Roy Jones Jr. was asked if Mayweather's undefeated record makes him the greatest, and he didn't think so. You have to respect it, yeah, but does it make him the GOAT?
Nah, he said.
Jones pointed out that Julio Cesar Chavez went 87-0 at one point, which is tough to beat. He also thinks Mayweather may have kept going if Rocky Marciano hadn't passed away, but Floyd stopped at 50-0 because of Marciano's undefeated record. Jones also took issue with Mayweather's last fight, a victory over Conor McGregor, who was making his boxing debut. He didn't think it was the right way to end a legendary career. The debate over who the true GOAT is in boxing will always be there. Both Mayweather and Jones have left huge marks on the sport, and each of them has their own impressive career. But for now, it's clear that they'll both always be remembered as 2 of the best fighters to ever step into the ring. For more boxing news and updates, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss any of our great content. Until next time, peace.